direct your attention toward the video board at this time for a very special tribute to Vic and Ardee Tarr.
Give me an H! Yeah! Give me a U! Yeah! Give me an S! Yeah! Give me a K! Yeah! Give me a Y! What is that spell? Husky!
Thanks, everybody, for showing up today. Can't tell you how much we appreciate it. Our family, the Husky family, we sure appreciate it. Being here today means you know the massive hole that's been left in this stadium with the loss of my parents, Ardee and Victor Tarr. They were the glue that held this family together, not just my own, but the Husky family itself, inspiring its coach, connecting its parents and players, and cheerleading for nearly 30 years. Thank you for coming today to celebrate their lives and what they mean to the Husky family. The word family is thrown around a lot in sports, often just cliche, but in rare special cases, a unique culture is created that sustains for generations, drawing a diverse group of like-minded souls together for a common goal. A goal pursued with passion, integrity, and pure joy. In these special families, success is a byproduct as much as it is a goal. The success of Husky softball can be traced back to this core value and will be the key to its success for generations to come. Family is Husky softball. A family that was born with Teresa Wilson and thrives today with my sister and my hero, Heather Tarr. Heather learned her parenting skills, as many do, from her own parents. She learned that parenting isn't that hard if you follow one simple rule: be there. You don't have to be clever, rich, strong, or lucky. Just be there. Ardee and Vic were there, often making it to 3 separate games in a day, with Vic coaching, Ardee keeping score and playing team mom. Mom and Dad were simply there. This is the core of who they were. From supporting us in not only team sports, skiing, biking, choir, juggling, the arts, not steering or forcing anything, simply letting us succeed and fail at anything we wanted to try. Husky softball rarely had real cheerleaders attending the games, but others arose to fill that role, such as my dad, Victor Tarr, standing tall, doing his very best to fire up the crowd, whether he spelled Huskies right or not. And not to be overshadowed by size or volume, Mom was behind the scenes, making sure she knew not only the players' names, numbers, and where they were from, but also the names of any parents or grandparents that attended the games as well, being sure this extended Husky family was as tight-knit as any. For my mom and dad, family had nothing to do with the bloodline. Unless, of course, that blood you happen to bleed runs purple. So if you're here today, you can know that you're a part of this unique and special family. Our family, the Husky Softball family. Thank you for being a part of the family, for supporting us through the most difficult last few years. And thank you for being there. A simple but so terribly important piece of what has made this family so successful. But simply what my folks would want us to do. And quite frankly, with them gone, it's the very best way to keep their spirit alive and well. From the bottom of our hearts, Zach, Heather, and myself, we love you and thank you for being here. Did you want to say anything? We wanted to kind of open up the mic for anybody else who, I know this is the worst thing to do at a memorial, but if there's anybody who has something special, a story or something quick to say about my parents, we'd love to hear it. Heather.
Obviously, we know Josh is the wordsmith of the whole group. I can get by. I'm not the best speech writer, and I just go off the cuff and how it feels. But this day was kind of something I didn't want. I didn't want to have this day. I didn't want to be in the reality of my mom and dad actually not being here. It's been the hardest couple months. And, you know, we all know, like, life goes on, and my mom and dad, of all people, I mean, that's their biggest thing. That's why it's so easy for me to say, like, okay, on to the next pitch. So what? Whatever happened before, the next one's the most important one, is because that's how they lived. They didn't live with regrets. They didn't live with judgment. They just lived, like Josh said, just being present, being fully immersed in it. And so many of you guys that are here, it means so much to our family just to know the family is so wide, so far, so deep, and it's definitely helps us heal. Because when you look up, even though it's a full stadium, when there's that spirit that's not there, it's just, we all know, like, we all feel it. But, my dad did all that because it evolved in him. I remember my senior year, I was up to bat. We were playing UCLA, and my dad had a pacemaker in 7th grade. When I was in 7th grade, he had a pacemaker put in, and it just turned out that 10 years later, my dad was needing a pacemaker replaced over at UW Hospital. And we were playing UCLA on this kind of mega comeback. And all I wanted to hear was my dad's voice. Because then I knew he had cleared the hospital and he was up there on the concourse. And it was a vivid memory of mine. And I really hung on to that feeling of knowing, like, my dad was there through his voice. All of our friends from Redmond Little League know that voice, and I just want to thank the University of Washington, like, specifically for putting this on. We didn't have to think much about it. They just said, okay, let's do this. Amy Lafergie, Kaylee Ryan, thank you for putting that video together. That means a lot to everybody in the stadium right now, to just remember Vic. We will never forget them, and through all of us, and fortunately for how Coach Wilson taught us to continue legacies, everybody in the stadium is going to continue what my parents were able to help us all understand. And that is just to be present, to be there, and every once in a while, give me an H. Thank you, guys.
I know it's putting you on the spot, so I'm not going to hold anybody to it, but again, from the family, large, small, from far and wide, thank you from the bottom of our hearts for being here.
Thank you.
I know it's putting you on the spot, so I'm not going to hold anybody to it, but again, from the family, large, small, from far and wide, thank you from the bottom of our hearts for being here.
Thank you. My name is Gary Labrie, and before the Husky family, we were part of the Redmond Little League family with the Studebakers and Toygos here. But he talks about Vic and Ardee always being there. I can guarantee you 40 years ago, being part of that Redmond Little League family, they were always there helping out, working concession stand, getting fields ready, helping with teams, getting organized and that. They were always there. One little story I would like to tell, it was, I believe, 1987, and Heather is playing for the Rangers on Redmond Little League, and they're playing the Angels in the city championships of Redmond Little League. And the Rangers have runners on second and third, and with first base open, the Angels decided to walk the batter intentionally and pitch to Heather Tarr. And yes, Heather Tarr hit a grand slam home run. So, just for you to always know, Heather, your Husky family is very proud of you, and your Redmond Little League family is always going to be very proud of you. For a lot of us Husky old-timers, the gold standard around here for a program was always the Don James program. That's what everybody was shooting for. Today, everybody in the University of Washington wants to have a Heather Tarr program. That's what they're shooting for. Thank you.
Anyone? Here comes Beach.
Great job. Hello, everyone. My name is Brandy, or Beach, some of you know me as. I had the pleasure of playing for Heather at Pacific and then trying to chase her coattails and come up here and coach with her too. I think just one thing I want to just throw out there is that I don't know how recruiting is going to go anymore for you, because I feel like your mom and dad were the best recruiters ever. I grew up with the Tarr family. Heather would tell you that I had lick-a-maid, as Josh and Zach always say, but sugar on my face, chasing the boys around, trying to swear at the kids for not letting me play. But Blair and Zach played Little League baseball together, and I was just trying to keep up. But I idolized Heather. I saw her picture up at the high school and tried to do everything I could to emulate her. And my senior year in college, I didn't know where I was playing. I got to play with Tammy. And thankfully, Vic and Ardee ran into my parents at the grocery store June after my senior year. And Vic and Ardee said, Heather's down at Pacific, give her a call. And so I say the recruiting piece, but I think everyone here knows that they were just connectors. And I think any female athlete here that's been touched by Heather, I think, is just living Vic and Ardee's true spirit. And I think that we all carry that with us, and we're just so thankful. So, love you.
Okay. Okay, definitely not my comfort level to be in front of people, but I'm Josh's ex-wife. So when we got a divorce, the joke was that we were ex, but I got to keep my in-laws because they're amazing, as everyone knows. So even as to keep going with the family tradition, Ardee was always super incredible. She even called my significant other her son-in-law. So, I mean, they always made everybody, all of our friends and everybody, feel like family. And one just cute story about when Andy used to play t-ball and softball, Ardee always had the best snacks. Like, I was never good at remembering each little roll-up and fruit thing and juice box. And so all the other kids figured this out about Ardee. And so we'd show up, and not only did Granny, she wasn't Granny to my kids, she was Granny to so many other kids. And it's just, they moved over to Wenatchee to be with the kids, and I still run into people who know them, who I had no clue. I mean, they just made their way around the whole community, so they're very missed. And we still, after our divorce, have spent all of our holidays together, so our first holidays without them has been really hard. But anyway, we appreciate everybody showing up and feeling all the love that they've always given us.
In front of this crowd, anybody can do it. So.
I just want to say that my first memory of Heather is John Rittman and I were doing a clinic at Redmond, and we were at the hitting part, and it was a rainy day as usual. And so we had the machine going for the hitting part of this clinic, and this little kid comes up, and I'm feeding the machine, and this little kid totally Charlie Browned me. I mean, ball back up the middle, I dived for my life, and that little kid was Heather Tarr. So needless to say, we followed her from there, and were thrilled when Heather came to the UW to play. A couple things about Vic and Ardee that I remember. I think Heather's an inspiration to every kid in the country who says if you want to attend a school, doesn't matter if you walk on, it's what matters. What matters is what you do after you get there. And I remember giving Heather a scholarship, and I'm in my office, and here comes Vic. Now, Vic's not a small man. But here comes Vic into the office with big alligator tears streaming down his face. And he is so happy that his daughter got a scholarship at the University of Washington. Regarding Ardee, I remember my mom and my grandma got to come out here to visit, and actually got to throw out a first pitch. But the fun that they got to enjoy, my mom and my grandma, was Ardee took them garage sailing. And she knew all the best spots. So she was a woman after my mom and my grandma's heart. If I had to sum all of it up, I was very, very close to my family too. And the good Lord knows the end story before any of the rest of us. Heather was meant to have this job. And I would say that being able to have such a relationship with your parents and have them to be such a part of what you're doing, they're gone way too soon. But the memories they got to enjoy while they were here and be a part of, and the memories that Heather will always have of that, you couldn't write a better story. Here's to Vic and Ardee.
Thanks. I would like to say that I don't pick up a microphone very often, but I actually do occasionally. We've had lots of memoriams over the last couple of years, and I'm Erica Smith. I met Heather Tarr at Redmond Montessori when we were 3, and my mom and Ardee I think were the room moms. We were about, 7 houses down, just outside of the Sahali Gates, which you guys, those of you that have been on the Redmond side, know we're about But through it all, Ardee and Vic were always there. I think there were so many things that you said today, Josh, that really hit with me. First is the definition of family. And I have to tell you, I can't be more proud of you as my best friend. And this program, I look around and the light, even the little kids running around, I just am so pumped that this is where we get to celebrate your parents. And Team Perp through and through. And the last big trip we had was the last trip to the World Series. And if you guys were there with us, Big Vic was there with his walker. Scary Lee, very tall, anyways. And you know Oklahoma City does not have even ground. But I was following around Vic that whole trip, if you guys remember. And Ardee was there making circles around. And I've never felt such a connection of a group of people. And I think, Teresa, you said it so beautifully. What was started here is not finished. And while Ardee and Vic are no longer on this side of the earth, they are so here. They're here in every pitch. They're here and surrounding you and loving you in every decision. So when I say to this bigger family, this is so much bigger than all of us. And I lost my dad now 17 years ago, same year after Heather got this head coaching job. He would have loved to have been here. And the biggest fan. Also the reason she left Redmond Little League and came over to the softball side of the house. Just so we're all knowing who's really responsible for what's happening here. We also won state in 1992 at Redmond High School. And I just want to make sure everyone knows that too. Okay, go Mustangs. But that voice along our soccer fields, volleyball courts, softball fields, even on the ski slopes, boy, Ardee and Vic are part of my heart. And this family is my family. And I do bleed purple now. But love to you all, love to all you Tars, and we're all here for you. Much love.
All right, last call, and we're going to wrap it up and get to having some snacks. And again, what an incredible day to get to celebrate Mom and Dad, and thank each and every one of you from the bottom of our hearts for being here. Thank you. We love you.